Welcome back. Tonight we are going to be summarizing Module 4 for Course 3, Real Estate Salesperson Program, represented by Humber. And let's not waste any time, let's get into it. Lesson 1 talks about buying a property and hiring a builder. We're going to skip all the way to the end. So, the types of property to build on. Vacant urban lots are located within an area of the municipality where full municipal services are available. Key considerations for this property type include zoning that specifies lot size and type of dwelling, easements, restrictive covenants, and survey. Vacant rural lots are located where traditional services and amenities commonly found within urban lot may or may not be available. Key considerations for this property type include special rural zoning requirements, availability of services such as sewers, water, hydro, telephone, type of heating options, availability and maintenance of roads, and the impact of surrounding uses. Rural lots with a structure could be developed with an older structure that will be demolished for a new home to be built. Key considerations for the type of this property include the availability and the age of certain services and property boundaries. Infill redevelopments allow the redevelopment of a property to increase the amount of housing on the land. Intensification. What is intensification? Intensification is the expanded use of buildings and serviced land to provide additional housing stock and more efficiently utilize existing municipal services, as opposed to the creation of new housing stock through outlying subdivision developments. Intensification has various dimensions, including the increased use of existing housing stock through additional dwelling units. This planning approach seeks to increase density through effective urban redevelopment. Key considerations include zoning compliance, specifically related to intensification, and ability to sever property and site plan control. What is site plan control? A method of development regulation imposed by a municipality. Urban lots with a structure exist in some locations where available land is limited. In this case, buyers purchase a property developed with an older residential structure with the intent to demolish it and construct a new home in its place. Key considerations include obtaining a demolition permit, zoning, aesthetic requirements, and additional financial requirements. Salesperson should be knowledgeable of the different requirements of these types of properties to better advise their buyers. Due diligence of the salesperson include understanding the buyer's needs and wants, investigating the legal aspects of a property, including the zoning designation, easements, or restrictive covenants, explaining the financial and tax requirements specific to new builds, as well as the process of obtaining a building permit. Ensuring that the appropriate conditions are placed in the offer will allow the buyer time to complete their due diligence. Key consideration when hiring a builder. Explaining the provincial warranty program and protection it provides to owners of new homes to ensure the buyer is aware of their rights when working with the builder. Confirming that the builder is registered with the provincial warranty program and that the home will be enrolled. Ensuring that the builder has a good reputation. Ensuring that the builder is capable of building a house that meets the buyer's needs and budgets. Identifying the exclusions to the warranty program for certain property types and items. This was lesson 1. Moving on to lesson 2. Lesson 2 talks about transactions involving a builder selling one or a select few properties. To summarize this lesson, marketing a property for the builder. Salesperson marketing a property for the builder, you will have to understand the following. 1. Contents of a representation agreement. Contents will need to be specific as possible regarding the property being listed for sale, as construction may not be started or completed. Services to the builder. As a salesperson, you can offer a variety of services to a builder, and depending upon the state of construction, these services could vary. Then another point is listing price. Depending on the stage of construction, when the property is listed for sale, these details may be quite lengthy, as there is not a completed home available to view, and the buyer must understand exactly what is being purchased. And then another thing is schedules attached to a representation agreement. The schedules could include sketches, drawings, floor plans, and artist renderings to describe the home. And then last, confirm coverage under the provincial warranty program. When completing the representation agreement, verify the builder is enrolled under the provincial warranty program. Types of newly constructed home. Home purchased from plans. So the site for the new home has been identified in this instance, but construction has not yet begun. Construction has yet to begin. While the buyer may still make changes to finishes and upgrades, delays in construction should be expected. A partially constructed home. A construction on the home has begun, such as the foundation, framing, roofs, and windows, but no finishing has been completed. While the buyer may have a better understanding of the floor plan and may be able to select finishes, structural changes cannot be made. A mostly constructed home. Construction on the home has been advanced where the interior and the exterior finishes have been completed, but not all the construction has been completed. While the buyer has a fuller understanding of what they are purchasing, they have limited options to change anything. So a fully constructed home, a fully completed home has all finishes and features done, while the buyer can see what they are purchasing and possession date can be negotiated with more confidence. The buyer may be paying for features not needed. Agreement of purchase and sale. Transaction consideration. When a buyer is prepared to place an offer on a spec home, there are considerations for you as a salesperson and the buyer, depending on how far construction has been processed. Financing considerations. Financing a spec home may vary depending on the stage of construction when an offer is made. Excuse me. Negotiating the transaction. Excuse me. As a salesperson, you can assist a buyer in negotiating an offer with a builder, explaining the closing procedure. The buyer should understand the closing procedures and the additional funds required to close the transaction. This was a summary of Lesson 2. Moving on to Lesson 3, representing a builder in a new home development site. So, transaction considerations. As a salesperson, you will have to understand the difference between working with another registered salesperson and working with a builder salaried employee. Builder may hire full-time salaried employees or contract a brokerage to sell new homes. Registrants must abide by REBA when selling new builds. A builder may pay a cooperating brokerage for introducing a buyer to the site, should the introduction result in sale. Representation agreement. You will have to understand the contents of a representation agreement to better understand the relationship between the brokerage and the builder. Representation agreements are used to establish the terms and conditions of the builder-brokerage relationship. Formats may vary from one builder to another. Written agreements between the builder and the brokerage must comply with Code Section 11. I think it's bedtime, but it's okay. Marketing newly constructed homes. As a salesperson, you will have to understand the product so that you can provide valuable input into the development of a marketing plan. What is a marketing plan? A marketing plan is an action plan developed by a brokerage or a salesperson, flowing from a marketing strategy to promote property and secure potential prospects. Develop develop and design of marketing and promotional material if contracted to do so. Work with on-site staff and potential buyers. Draft and explain agreement of purchase and sale to buyers. Know the product that they are selling and its suitability for the buyer. Staff the model home and sale office. Provide information and guidance to the builder on a variety of matters regarding the project. And then standard features and finishes. For a successful sale, you will need to have an appropriate product knowledge. Review the content of this excuse me. Review the content of standard features and finishes sheet to ensure familiarity with the builder's standard package. It is a sales and marketing tool. That was lesson 3. Moving on to lesson 4. Representing a buyer in a new home development site. So, representing a buyer, your role as a salesperson when representing the buyer of a new home includes attending the first visit, reviewing the marketing materials, obtaining detailed information about design, flexibility, upgrades, completion date, and other details, gaining knowledge on the surrounding community of the new home, understanding contracts and financial obligations of the buyer, and referring the buyer to third-party service providers when necessary, determining if the builder will pay remuneration, and then working with a salaried full-time employee. You will have to be aware of the services to a buyer when working with salaried full-time employee of the builder that include working with salaried full-time employee of a builder when representing a buyer, restrictions of salaried full-time employees to sell properties owned by the builder. They cannot sell properties owned by other people. So a full-time salaried employee for a builder can only sell houses for a builder but not other people. Okay. Moving on to lesson 5. Mortgage, essentials, liens, and holdbacks. So a construction loan. As a salesperson, you will have to exercise due diligence and understand the basics of construction loans. 1. A construction loan is typically a short-term, higher interest loan that is used to cover the cost of construction. The most The most common type of construction loan is a progress draw mortgage. In this case, the lender pays the builder draws as various phases of constructions are completed. Once construction is completed and is verified by the appraiser, a takeout mortgage is organized by the lender when buying a home purchased from a builder plan. The agreement of purchase and sale would detail the deposit required by the builder, which are typically scheduled to be paid in installments. And then number 2, typically the lender will require additional documentation that may vary based on whether the home is being purchased from the plan of a home builder or if it's a customer owner built home. Construction loans are based on the completed value of the home. Once construction is completed or near completion, the lender will have a certified appraiser visit the property to project the appraised value of the completion. Liens. When working with a buyer who has hired a builder to build their house, you will have to be able to explain what liens are. So, 1. The Construction Act permits the registration of a lien by any person involved in effecting an improvement to the value of the property. 2. A lien claimant can only register a claim for the value of services or materials supplied. 3. A lien must be registered in the land registry office, must be verified by affidavit. Oh my god, did I pronounce this right? I have no idea. Affidavit. And the owner must be notified of the lien. A lien must be registered within 60 days of specified events. So what is a lien? An agreement between two parties, namely the party owing the money, liener, and the party whom those funds are due, lienee, or a statutory provision as in the case of tax lien imposed by the Canada Revenue Agency. Holdbacks. When working with a buyer who has hired a builder to construct their house, you will have to be able to explain the types of holdbacks and how funds are dispersed. The Construction Act provides a requirement for two types of holdbacks, basic and finishing. So basic holdback. Under the basic holdback, the Act states that 10% of the price of all services and materials provided under a contract or subcontract are withheld by the buyer. Finishing holdbacks. A holdback under the Construction Act includes a circumstance in which a contract has been certified or declared to be substantially performed, but various services or materials are required to complete that particular contract. That was lesson 5. Moving on to lesson 6.